Look, we all want to build wealth, right? But here's the thing. The old maps don't work anymore. Wealth hasn't disappeared, not at all, but the roads to get there have completely shifted. So today, we're going to break down the actual blueprint for what works in 2026. No fluff, no get-rich-quick nonsense. Let's get into it. So let me ask you something straight up. Is your path to wealth, well, is it outdated? Because chances are it might be. So many people are still chasing the same old stuff. The saturated side hustles, the advice that worked 10 years ago, all those internet fantasies. What we're doing here is pulling back the curtain to show you where the real opportunities have moved. Okay, this right here is probably the biggest mistake I see people making. They confuse these two ways of earning. On one side, you've got the classic time for money deal. It's stable, sure, but it hits a wall. There's always a ceiling. But on the other side, that's the leverage model. It's built on scale, and guess what? No ceiling. Getting this difference isn't just a small point. It is the absolute first step to building any kind of real wealth today. All right, so here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with the new rules of wealth. Then we'll dive into the modern pillars of leverage. After that, we'll talk about how to grow and protect what you build. We'll touch on something called invisible capital. And finally, we'll call out the paths that just don't work anymore. Okay, let's jump into section 1. And the first new rule, look, this one's a little tough for people to hear. A high salary is great. It gives you comfort, it gives you stability, but it is not a path to wealth. In 2026, if you just have income without any kind of leverage, you're just going to hit a ceiling way, way too soon. And this really gets to the core of it. The gap between being rich and being stuck, it's not about effort. It's not about grinding harder or pulling all-nighters. It's about one thing, scale. It's about finding a way to make your impact bigger than the hours you can physically put in. So what even is leverage? Let's keep it simple. It's just using systems that can scale up to create value without you having to be there. Think about that. It's about building something that works for you, even when you're not working. Honestly, this one idea, it's the key to everything else we're going to talk about. And leverage isn't just some vague concept. It comes in 4 main flavors. First, there's ownership, equity in a business. Then you've got automation, using tools and tech like AI. Third is audience. That's all about attention and trust. And last, there's capital. Basically, using money to make more money. I'll tell you what, every single real path to wealth today relies on at least one of these 4. All right, let's get practical. Section 2, how do we actually use this stuff? We're going to focus on what I think are the 3 biggest pillars for building wealth right now. Ownership, audience, and, yep, you guessed it, AI. Okay, first up, ownership. This is still the king, the undisputed champion of building wealth. But the way you win with it has totally changed. We're not talking about some flashy Silicon Valley startup. The real money in 2026 is being made quietly. It's being made by small, AI-powered teams that solve boring but absolutely essential problems. Think less about following your passion and more about providing convenience, speed, and stuff that just works. I love this quote. If something sounds exciting to everyone, it's already too late. It just nails it, right? Real opportunity isn't where everyone is looking. It's hidden in those overlooked, kind of boring niches that actually provide massive value. Because by the time an idea is all over the news, the real party is already over. Okay, let's talk about the next pillar, audience. In 2026, attention is basically digital real estate. But here's the secret most people miss. Wealth doesn't come from a huge number of views or followers. It comes from building deep, real trust with a smaller, more focused group of people. That's the game changer. And there's a powerful way to do this. It's a simple 3-step model. Step 1, find something complex in a niche you care about and just explain it simply. That's how you build real authority. Step 2, you build on that authority. And step 3, you monetize it, but usually indirectly by creating things that actually help that specific audience. Remember, a small audience that trusts you is worth way, way more than a huge one that barely knows who you are. And that brings us to AI. Man, so many people are scared of it. But AI didn't kill opportunity. You know what it killed? Mediocrity. In 2026, the winners are the ones who see AI for what it is, a multiplier. It's leverage. You use it to move faster, slash your costs, and just flat out-execute everyone else. It's all about speed now. Okay, so let's say you're starting to build something. You're creating value. How do you keep it, and how do you grow it? That's what Section 3 is all about. Growing and protecting your wealth with the right kind of investing and the right skills. This is a big one. So many people think investing is how you get rich. It's not. Investing doesn't make you rich, it keeps you rich. It's a defensive move. It's for preservation and letting your money grow slowly over time. You create the wealth with leverage, and you protect it with investing. You got to get that order right. And this quote right here just cuts right to it. Most people try to invest their way out of low income. That's backwards. You can't invest your way out of a cash flow problem. It's impossible. The formula is simple. Build your income and create value first, and then you invest what's left over. Trying to do it the other way around is a recipe for disaster. So, what skills actually matter in this new world? Well, the most valuable ones are the ones that scale. I'm not talking about knowing a specific piece of software. That stuff changes. I'm talking about timeless skills. Things like systems thinking, communication, sales, and strategy. These are like meta skills. They're what let you build and run the leverage systems we've been talking about this whole time. All right, section 4. Let's talk about a type of capital that doesn't show up on a balance sheet, but it might be the most valuable one you have. I'm talking about your network. Here's the thing you have to understand. Money moves through people. Opportunity isn't something you find on a public website. The best deals, the best ideas, they travel through back channels, private groups, and trusted relationships. The people who are really winning aren't out there hunting for opportunities. The opportunities are finding them because of who they know. And finally, let's wrap up by talking about what not to do. This is just as important. In section 5, we're going to point out the dead ends, the old strategies that are just a waste of your time in 2026. Yeah, these paths, they're pretty much dead. We're talking about those copy-paste side hustles you see everywhere, the super-saturated dropshipping stores, all those fake passive income scams. Here's a really simple rule of thumb for you. If an opportunity is being sold to you really hard by a guru, you're not the customer, you're the product. And that brings us to a final, really important point. Building real wealth isn't loud. It's not a flashy Instagram post. It's quiet. It's a long-term process of picking your leverage and owning the results. By the time you see someone's success, you have to realize the hard work was done years before you ever noticed. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. The real question isn't, how do I get rich? I mean, pretty much everyone wants that. The real question is this: are you willing to build something that scales? Are you willing to commit to the patient, deliberate process of building something bigger than yourself? That's what it all comes down to.